Hello, everybody. This is Jan Paval with Access Arts Live, the Chamber live stream action roundup for the week of January 12th to January 19th, 2026. Yes, we have made it into a new year. And this week we have chamber music from early music to now compositions, piano recitals, quintets, genre-bending ensembles, mixing classical and jazz and electronic music. We have concerts from London to San Francisco and all points in between. I can't wait to get to tell you about them all. Before I do, let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching us on any of our platforms, though, do yourself a favor and follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live, absolutely free of charge, on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn, and you will get more than 1,000 live links to live performances online in this coming year. Symphonies, chamber music, opera, ballet, and more, organ recitals, organ festivals, chamber music festivals. All of our services are free of charge. Why would you not follow or subscribe to that? I don't know, but everybody doesn't. Anyway, let's move on to talking about this week's chamber music live stream action. If you've been following us, then you got our notice earlier today that St. Mary's Perivale was live streaming Edward Leung, playing Chaminade, Nadia Boulanger, Clara Schumann, and a Brahms sonata earlier today. If you missed that, it's not too late to have some chamber music today. There's something coming up in about an hour and a half. Let me put up a photo and tell you about that one. Ta-da! Noontime Concerts, San Francisco. Tuesday, January 13th, Noontime Concert, San Francisco. Live streams Beyond the Dream, a musical tribute to Martin Luther King Jr. with pianist Carl Blake, cellist Nancy Bean, Daniel Glover on the piano, Joseph Edelberg on the violin, Bradley Kennard, the baritone, the soprano Shawnette Sulker, and William Underwood on the flute. And there you see pictures of some of them. This concert is all curated by the pianist, Dr. Carl Blake. You know, there have been observances for Dr. Martin Luther King going on this past weekend, and there'll be more this coming weekend. We've been telling you about several orchestral ones in Atlanta and in Cleveland and coming up in Cincinnati on Saturday. So this concert will have opening remarks, and then some of the kind of songs that you'll be hearing are This Little Light of Mine, Mother and Child, Beyond the Dream, The Impossible Dream. There is a Balm in Gilead. I wonder if that's the one with the melody I know, which is There is a Balm in Gilead. I wonder. And then Precious Lord, Take My Hand, closing remarks, and Hold On, which I imagine will be a festive choral conclusion. That's in about, as I said, in about an hour and a half, half past noon in San Francisco, 3:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast, 9:30 in the evening here in Europe, where I'm live streaming from snowy Stockholm, where the snow in the yard comes up to over my knees. 7:30 Wednesday morning down under in Australia, in places like Melbourne and Sydney. Then we move on to tomorrow's offerings. And there is what I think is a fascinating dance presentation going on tomorrow, which I will be happy to tell you about. It has to do with Antonia Mercé, also known as La Argentina, from 1920s Paris, France, although she's Spanish. Wednesday, January 14th, March Vivo resumes its live streaming with a unique revival of Spanish dance, which was the toast of Paris in 1929. Two ballets, Huerga by Julian Bautista and Triana by Isaac Albeniz, and several choreographic pieces from the repertoire of La Argentina, also known as Antonia Mercé and her Ballet Espagnols, corps of Spanish dancers. That'll be at 6 in the evening on Saturday, European time. I mean, on Wednesday, European time. Wednesday, noon on the East Coast and 9 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. Antonia Mercé, she had a ballet troupe called Ballet Espagnol in Paris in the 1920s, and it combined traditional dance and avant-garde dance, and it was highly successful. It was the toast of Paris. And so Antonio Najarro, who's an award-winning Spanish choreographer, has put together this amazing series of a couple of ballets from the time that La Argentina appeared in. I want to show you another photo of her that I think shows another very adorable side of this dancer. The costumes, incidentally, in this performance are based on the 1920s costumes. And there's a picture of Antonio La Argentina just thrilled to be trying on a new costume that for the first time, which I think is just so charming. It reminds us that these great artists are people. Anyway, Najarro was a child prodigy, joined the National Ballet of Spain when he was only 15 years old, ended up the director of the National Ballet all through the teens, and then formed his own company about 4 or 5 years ago, with which he's done 4 dance productions already, including this La Argentina, which he put on in Paris. So the musical direction is by Luis Fernando Perez, who has been called the Renaissance of Spanish Piano by Le Monde, the Parisian magazine. He's played with the Spanish National Orchestra, the Monte Carlo Phil, the Warsaw Symphony. Monte Carlo Phil is a very good Phil. They have a lot of money. Okay. And he's done recitals at Carnegie Hall and Tokyo Opera House. Stage direction is by Carolina Africa. And I have a photo that I can show you of these three. So why don't I put that on the screen for you too? Here are these 3 heads of this proposition by March Vivo. You don't need to see as much as me. I can just be in a little box there. She's a theater and film director, a playwright, a screenwriter, actress, producer. She's wrote and directed a number of theater pieces, one of which she turned into a debut feature film, which was nominated for the Goya Awards in 2025, the big Spanish awards. And her plays have been produced in Argentina, the United Kingdom, and Italy. Then there are the dancers, and I have to say, I was very disappointed. I went through all the extensive background materials, and we'll give you the link to those background materials, and they tell you many important details, but they don't tell you anything about the dancers. And I'm sorry, I think that's wrong. The dancers are Helena Martin, Maria Fernandez, Cristina Carnero, Alejandra de Castro, Carmen Diaz, Maria Gomez, Daniel Ramos, Alvaro Madrid, Alvaro Brito, Ethan Soriano, David Acero, Javier Moreno, and Diego Olmier. And I'm very sorry they don't put more detail about any of you in the program materials. But all that aside, it looks like a magnificent effort. It's supported by a number of top Spanish institutions. So this is something that March Vivo has gone all out on in memory of this amazing dancer, Antonia Mercé. Okay, let us then move on to the next big offering that we have for you after that. I think next up, yes, will be on Thursday. And we go from the 1920s to a much earlier time, Midtown concerts. Thursday, January 15th, Midtown Concerts, the early music specialist live stream harpsichordist Ben Katz and friends on the theorbo Baroque harp and cello, performing his creation, Hymn to Apollo. exploring the notion of light and shade, chiaroscuro, translated to sound, with sharp contrast, rhapsodic versus rhythmic dances, lamentation versus celebration, and inner monologue versus lively dialogue. That's at the usual Midtown Concerts time of 1:15 p.m. in New York City, where they're located. 10:15 in the morning on the West Coast and 7:15 in the evening here in Europe. We will give you if there's room, we'll give you the links to each of the musicians, including Ben Katz. Apollo is the ancient Greek god of music and light, among other things. I can tell you, so you can find, if you go to the YouTube link, you will find the program for the day. It has been loaded up now. They're doing things like pieces by the Sarabande de la Reine by Jacques Champion de Chambonnières, 1600s composer. The Entrée d'Apollon, the entry of Apollon by Jean-Baptiste Lully, another 17th century, 1600s composer. The pieces by Bernardo Pasquini, Giovanni Girolamo Kapsberger, Biagio Marini, and a harpsichordist, Ben Katz, is a top international harpsichordist, leader of a new Baroque group called the Rootless Neapolitans, who has, he's interested in music from the Middle Ages to the early modern era. He's conducted workshops in that kind of scholarly area at Stony Brook, at Longy School of Music, and at the Harvard Organ Society. But true to form, he's also interested, like many early music enthusiasts, in completely new music, bookended, reaching to both before and after the core of the classical music tradition, to find freedom, to find inventiveness, to reinvent anew. And he has done concerts by that and worked with contemporary New York City composers like Stephen Long and Anthony Coleman. So another top Midtown Concerts, Gotham early music scene production. Okay. Next up, Friday, January 16th, the Kennedy Center Millennium stage once again hosts and live streams top musicians from the National Symphony Orchestra in a program of chamber music, which will be announced subsequently. These are always fine live streams. They're free of charge, 6 o'clock in the evening in Washington, D.C., 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the West Coast, and midnight here in Europe, and 10 in the morning, Saturday morning, down under in Australia. You know, in Russia, Christmas isn't over yet. And so the next piece I want to tell you about, I didn't know whether to put it under organs or chamber music. Decided chamber music because ultimately that's what this particular concert is all about. Saturday, January 17th, Artbene live streams free of charge the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow's Epiphany concert with organist Marina Omelchenko and the melody duo of Svetlana Polyanskaya, the soprano, and the alto Olga Nadezhdina, and violinist William Kalo playing and singing Bach, Handel, Gounod, Saint-Saëns, Max Reger, and others. It's a Christmas or Epiphany Little Christmas concert. This trio of the vocal duet Melody and this violinist, they have performed at the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow before. They're not newly put together. They did a Lenten concert back in April, and I think they did a Christmas concert back last Christmas. And Marina Omelchenko is the very talented resident organist at the Roman Catholic Cathedral. They'll be doing pieces like Gounod's Ave Maria, Handel's aria Rejoice from the Messiah Oratorio, Saint-Saëns' aria Expectans Expectavi Dominum from the Christmas Oratorio by Saint-Saëns, Max Reger's Lullaby of the Virgin Mary, John Rutter's Candle Cara, Adolph Adams' Holy Night, Holy Night, you know, Christmas songs, but later in the year because the Orthodox calendar is later. And even though it's a Catholic cathedral, they sort of follow the Orthodox calendar because everybody else is doing so. Okay. So that's that. If you want one last gasp of Christmas, here is your chance, folks. But if not, if you would like something which is much more hardcore, classical, you got a piano. You got a chance to hear a piano quintet. Sunday, January 18th, St. Mary's Perivale live streams Misha Kapluki and friends forming a piano quintet to play Shostakovich's piano quintet in G minor, opus 57, and Schumann's piano quintet in E flat, opus 44. That's 66 minutes of piano quintet playing. The performers are Elif Kantsever and Sani Talvitier on the violin, Nora Quirijnan on the viola, Eddie Mead on the cello, and as said, Misha Kapluki on the piano. He's a Gnessen College graduate, but finished up at the Royal College of Music, where he's now working on his master's degree. This is not his first time around at St. Mary's Perivale. Back in November, he played together with Magdalena Ho, two pianists playing Brahms, Busoni, and Schubert. Last April, he did a solo recital playing a pretty interesting set of pieces, Schumann's David's Bundler-Tänze, Opus 6, pieces by Leonid Desyatnikov, and some Liszt. So it could be another one of these very high-quality St. Mary's Perivale live streams. I think Hugh Mather there is very enthusiastic about hearing these piano quintets. You don't hear that many of them. But that's not all. If you really, really want hardcore, really fine chamber music, there's one more this week. And it doesn't get any better than this one. There she is. That's Dame Imogen Cooper. Sunday, January 18th. Wigmore Hall returns to live streaming after the Christmas break with noted pianist and peerless Schubertian Dame Imogen Cooper playing what else but the 8 impromptus which Schubert composed in the very final weeks of his life, the last drops of Schubert's genius. That'll be at 9 o'clock in the evening European time, 3 o'clock on the East Coast in New York City, noon in LA, 7 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning down under in Australia. And I don't know why in the world anybody who loves Schubert or who loves piano or who loves classical music would not be wanting to tune into this free of charge concert from Wigmore Hall, which is one of the premier concert halls in the world. Well, according to them, they are the premier hall, but they are certainly one of the top venues to play at. The program is simple. Schubert's 4 impromptus, D899, and Schubert's 4 impromptus, D935. And Imogen Cooper, she's the top of the ladder when it comes to Schubert or when it comes to being a pianist. There's a quote from the Daily Telegraph in which they say, "Go, listen, and wonder how many better pianists there are alive in this country or anywhere." So, and Wigmore Hall says this is one of the highlights of our season to have her here for this. These days, she goes around playing concertos with the Bavarian Radio Symphony down in Munich, with the London Symphony, with the Halle Orchestra, with the Cleveland and Helsinki Phils, and she's doing recitals in Vienna, Amsterdam, Philadelphia, the Klavier Fest in Ruhr in Germany. And she's going to China this spring to play solo recitals and to play Schubert's Winterreise with Mark Padmore. Not a favorite of mine, but a favorite of other people. So these were the last drops of Schubert's genius as they came out. It could not be more refined. The man could not have more experience and more have more to put out. This is laying it out, leaving it all on the field, as they say. And Dame Imogen Cooper playing it. How can you miss that? So that's what we have for you in terms of standard chamber music concerts this week. But in addition to that, there are three what I call now music concerts of very advanced chamber music. People trying to create a chamber music for now, for our time, which is kind of hard to do in the 21st century when so much has happened. So here is, I think, the first of these. Yes. That's right. That's Gene Pritzker of Composers Concordance that you see there on the left, and Tassos Papastamou on the right. Thursday, January 15th, Composers Concordance live streams Tasman, also known as Tassos Papastamou, on the violin, and Noise Punk, also known as Gene Pritzker, the guitarist and DJ, and poet Eric T. Johnson, playing the world premiere of Pritzker's erotic love poems and Tassos Papastamou's Think for Yourself, Fall in Love, and more. That's at 8 o'clock in New York time on Thursday night, 5 o'clock on the West Coast, 2 o'clock in the morning here in Europe, and noon, Friday noon down under in Australia, or a little earlier than that if you're in Perth on the West Coast. This is these two guys have come together to team up in a team that's called Tasman and Noise Punk. And what it is Tassos Papastamou and Gene Pritzker. They like to put names on what they're doing. This is an electroacoustic duo performing music for violin, guitar, and electronics, and improvisation, and what they call groove-driven beat design. It's now. If you want the music that's created now, this is it. Okay. Now, after that, there's another concert coming from Composers Concordance, which I don't have a picture for. There are too many people in it. Sunday, January 18th, Composers Concordance live streams all about the Balkans. A concert of now music inspired or coming from the Balkan region. Featured on the program are Milica Paranosic's Kadia Poggio, Gene Pritzker's Taste of the Infinite, Velizar Yordanov's Omdre, and Svetlana Bukvich's Balkan Dance Remix. I'm not familiar with any of this stuff. There's a long list of clarinet, guitar, accordion, violins, piano, synthesizer, drum machine, electronic, Arturia Micto Freak synthesizer, etc., and works by those that I mentioned already, but also by Dan Cooper and Natasha Bogoyevich, William Schimmel, Dave Soldier, Marina Vesic, and Mark Zaki. If you're looking for vibrantly and inspired music coming from the regions of Albania, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Croatia, Greece, etc., Kosovo, Macedonia, Montenegro, this is it. This is for you. And finally, we have one more live stream to tell you about. And it is also now music, but it's coming from Chicago, Constellation Chicago. Another one of those, look, if you like now music, Constellation Chicago is one of these very dependable outlets, which will give you a steady feed of it. They also do live streams of jazz music as well, but I don't think jazz needs any help, but I think contemporary classical could use some help in marketing, and that's why we're here. Sunday, January 18th, Constellation Chicago live streams a double bill of Turns and Flanau Duo, playing music for piano and percussion. That's Flanau Duo, and flute and double bass. That's Turns. Flanau Duo is pianist Jonathan Hanau and percussionist Kyle Flens. You see them in one of the pictures. They're standing on a staircase. They first performed together at the 2021 Thirsty Ears Festival, and then they decided to take the vows and and become a thing. They're doing two pieces in the first set. One is called A Mist is a Collection of Points, Part 3 by Michael Pissarro. And then they'll do Makey Nas's Digit Number 2. I have no idea what that's going to sound like, but it's now music, piano, percussion, electronics, improvisation, and absurdism, according to the Flanau Duo. Then in the second set, there's this new project called Turns. It's Sasha Ishov and Will Yeager. Sasha Ishov is a Russian-American flautist. He's premiered, he tells us, over 100 works, has performed at the Ojai or OJ Music Festival in California. I used to live in LA, still don't know how to pronounce that, at the BBC Proms and Carnegie Hall. So he's been there, done that. He's got degrees from UC San Diego and Eastman, and he's a Miyazawa artist. Nothing to sneeze at. Will Yeager is a double bassist, and he's into experimental music, improvisation, and especially collaborations. And he's one of these musicians looking to create new solo and chamber repertoire for his instrument, double bass. He's a founding member of Ligament, which is a duo that he's in with soprano Annika Kildegard, and he's a member of the experimental trio Wombat. Oh, and by the way, on the side, he's also on the faculty at the University of Northern Iowa. Turns will do several pieces. They'll do Silvia Borzelli's Own Pace, Amnesia 3, composed in 2011. So they'll do Martin Dalby's McPherson's Rant. That's from 1974, I think. And then they'll do Christina Burke's Abandoned Tree, Scentless Animal, which was composed just last year. And then they'll do Beat Furrer's Ira Arca from 2012. If you want now music, this is as now as it gets, folks. Okay, folks, that's what we have for you this week in terms of chamber live stream action. I hope that one, some, more, any of these concerts uplifts you or inspires you. I think particularly that Dame Cooper concert. I don't know how that will fail to be inspiring if you're a lover of classical music. And I don't know how any of these chamber things don't turn out to be a lot of fun if you have absolutely no judgment. If you have any judgment, well, that's another thing. Anyway, so before I go, let me remind you, if you watch this, if you're seeing this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're seeing this on any of our other platforms, please don't just like the video. We love it when you do, but what we want you to do is follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn. And in return, we will make sure you get more than 1,000 live links to live performances online and wonderful weekly and daily explanations of everything that's going on from yours truly, John Paval. How about that? Can't beat that. And it's all free of charge. What we do is free of charge. We just give it away. Maybe 10 to 15% of the live streams we commend to you do carry a charge, like the Berlin Philharmonic or the Paris National Opera. But on the other hand, the Vienna State Opera, which is one of the tops in the world, they live stream on a regular basis, free of charge. You've got top orchestras all over Germany and Scandinavia and the U.S. who live stream free of charge, also down under in Argentina and Brazil. There's a world of it. There's more than 1,000 a year going on, high quality. And there's a lot more beyond that it's not that we're curating. We just don't have time to tell you about it. So with that, I'm going to be signing off. I'll say sayonara. If you're interested, at 5:30 p.m. today, Mountain Standard Time, I will be doing a live stream interview with the two organists on site at the John Cage Organ 2 8-day-long live stream performance. Check that out. You can find the indicator of that. You can find the post of that online.